Joe Biden is like quadrupling down on this. Here's just a little bit of the latest. This is just on Friday. Soundbite 11 is amazing.
But we've never seen anything like Putin's tax on both food and gas. Putin's price hike is hitting America hard. Gas prices at the pump, energy and food prices account for half of the monthly price increases since May. I'm doing everything in my power to blunt Putin's price hike and bring down the cost of gas and food.
Who is going to believe that?
Megyn, I like this thing where you can just blame Putin for everything. Like I stubbed my toe on the way into the studio, blame Putin. My hair is a little flatter today than usual, blame Putin. I saw Downton Abbey 2 this weekend, didn't love it. I blame Putin. It's so ridiculous because even if there's some degree of truth in it, meaning that because Russia controls a lot of oil and natural resources and a war can change the economics of the world. Let's say that's roughly true to some degree. It obviously is, right? When there's a war somewhere, especially involving a big oil producing country, it can affect things. If that's roughly true, Biden shouldn't be saying that's the problem. Biden should be saying, here are the things that we are doing to counter what he has done. And actually, virtually everything that Biden has done over the course of, this long 1.5-year presidency has in effect been to make inflation worse and gas prices higher and not drill and exacerbate the war and give $40 billion more to Ukraine and not declare war, but we're in a war and the rest of it. So if you are a good president, it is irrelevant, actually, what the other guy is doing. You would be setting policies to counteract what he's doing. But instead, all he's got is, this is Putin's fault.
It's so empty, right? It reassures no one. Even if you give him, okay, the past couple of months, some percentage point inside that 8.6 is Putin, right? Like the prices in gas and so on.
Right, sure. There's some level of reality to something there. Okay.
Just over the past couple of months, though. It doesn't touch anything before the invasion of Ukraine. But even if you were to give him that, the people sitting at home understand full well that the vast majority of that 8.6 is on Biden. And you could farm out some of it too to COVID, supply chain that got screwed up. I think people would be generous in saying, we get that. It's not 100% on him. That 5 million that was pumped into the trillion that was pumped into, I wish million, 5 trillion that was pumped into the economy by Biden, a little bit from Trump. Trump's was mid-pandemic, worst of the worst. Biden wanted more. He wanted an extra 3 trillion on top of that for other spending wishes of his, but wasn't able to get it. That's on him. That is 100% on him. The message that he was going to kill coal and kill oil coming in, discouraging these guys from actually getting aggressive about continuing our energy independence. That's on him. And his unwillingness to open it up now is on him, right? He is as sort of strong as his rhetoric is about like there are 9,000 leases and why aren't they taking them? There are 9,000 leases, right? That's all on him. They're not taking them for a variety of reasons, most of which originate with you. So people know it, Dave. It's like so frustrating to hear him the bottom line is he has no plan.
Right. Look, at the end of the day, the buck has to stop with someone. And I think when we vote for people, the hope is that the president is the guy that the buck stops with. So even if we're both being pretty generous here. We're both acknowledging that there is some stuff out of his control, right? So the president doesn't control everything, thankfully. And but that doesn't mean there's nothing he can do. So if, in effect, he has done all of the wrong things, you just laid out a whole bunch of them. They stopped Keystone XL. They refused to drill. They've printed all of this money, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, no, this really isn't just because of Putin. And then, by the way, in that same press conference from the one that you guys just played, he went on to go to talk about Exxon's record profits. And it's like, all right, we can have some discussion, perhaps, about what oil companies could be doing in times of war or whatever this is related to their profits. But their record profits have very little to do with what they're doing, actually, and everything to do with the conditions that Biden is either creating or allowing to be created.
He's floundering. He doesn't have a plan. It's very clear. He's trying to distance himself from the Fed because the Fed's raising interest rates, which actually may affect the inflationary rate. And he doesn't want the political hit of that, but it really is part of the solution. And nobody is backing him. He has no constituency. He really doesn't. He doesn't have like the crazies who back the squad or like the diehard Bernie fans. There's no diehard Biden fan. And speaking of those two worlds, I think that's why, in part, AOC, when asked by Dana Bash of CNN this weekend whether she's going to endorse Biden for president for his reelection, said the following. Listen to Soundbite 13. Hate to run AOC bites, but you got to hear this one.
You know, if the president chooses to run again in 2024, I mean, first of all, I'm focused on winning this majority right now and preserving a majority this year in 2022. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I think if the president has a vision, then that's something certainly we're all willing to entertain and examine when the time comes.
That's not a yes.
Yeah, you know, I think we should endorse when we get to it. But I believe that the president has been doing a very good job so far. And, you know, should he run again, I think that I think it's we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
But right now we need to focus on winning a majority instead of a presidential election.
So, no.
Megyn, you remember when Bill O'Reilly, when he was on Fox, used to bring on the body language expert every week? It's like, man, she said a lot with that body language. When she laughed, she was nodding her head no as she was saying something affirmative.
True.
You know, the lean-ins to the camera, all of that stuff. But what's interesting about this...
Oh, wait, can I add to that? One of the other signs of deception, and she does it there at the end for the listening audience, she raises her hands and they're sort of motioning around her shoulders, hands above the midline, when coupled with other signs, is another indicator of deception.
Oh, I love that. That's like that line in Seinfeld. Remember, Jerry's telling George, when you're lying, the higher up on your face that you touch, the bigger the lie. So if you touch your nose, it's kind of like an average lie. But if you scratch the top of your head, it's a big lie.
Scratching and touching in general are also indicators, but hands above the midline in general is you're lying. But it has to be coupled with a few other signs. Anyway, she's lying. She doesn't want to endorse Biden, but neither does anybody in her party.
Yeah, you're right. He has no constituency. This was a Frankenstein monster when they decided to give him the nomination, which is what they decided, you know, right before Super Tuesday. They cut all the deals. Everyone dropped out. They gave it to Biden. There was no real support there, but it was just this anti-Trump thing. And let's make it so he's not one of the crazy socialists. He's just the average old Joe who's been around for 47 years. And it'll kind of remind us of Obama or something like that. But there's no support for him. And also what I think now has happened, which is going to be much scarier, is that AOC knows that regardless of whether Biden steps down or loses re-election or whatever, there's no chance in hell. I mean, there is simply no chance in hell.
Are the high fuel costs putting a damper on your summer vacation plans? From higher prices at the pump to a jump in airfare, it is getting more expensive to get away for a week. But what if you could soak up those vacation vibes year-round in the privacy of your own backyard? Get yourself a Michael Phelps swim spa by Master Spas, and you can do it. Whether you want to stay close to home this summer or you just want to extend your break, a Michael Phelps swim spa by Master Spas can transform your backyard into an oasis. It combines the benefits of a pool with the therapy of a hot tub. This is going to reinvent your family time and your exercise time if you want it. You will love it. Your family and friends will too. Michael Phelps swim spas by Master Spas come in a variety of sizes to complement almost any yard. Even if it's a tiny one, you may think you can't do this. You can. You can. And since it's heated, you can use it year round in any climate. Michael Phelps swim spas are 100% made in the USA by Master Spas, the world's largest swim spa manufacturer. Go to masterspas.com, put in the promo code MK, and you will save $1,000 on a Michael Phelps swim spa or $500 on a Master Spas hot tub. That's masterspas.com, promo code MK. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.